When you meet someone and sparks fly, what do you do next? What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Fervent Four. Did you know that only 4% of businesses ever cross the annual $1 million revenue mark? Hello, I'm Zack Miller, author of Anomaly. And with me today, I have my co-host, Tim Ryan, lead man at startwheel.org. Thank you so much for joining us. The Fervent Four is a weekly show each and every Thursday at 11 a.m. dedicated to sharing insights into growing a world-class business, no matter the climate. Remember meeting someone and being like, wow, that was absolutely incredible. It could be someone you want to date or even someone you meet at a networking event. But what you do next might be the most important piece of the puzzle. Insert Xerxes Nabong. Big time wrestling fan, owner of at least 2.5 businesses, has a 7 handicap on the golf course. I don't know if that's true or not. And an underrated TikTok creator. TikTok. What exactly is that? Well, Xerxes, what do you do when you meet someone and, sparks fly?
You buy them that wrestling belt, the very one that's on their shoulder. And for those out there that are wrestling fans, the champion, the leader of the company carries that belt. And the person that played secondary to that carries the United States title.
Is it interesting that I'm the world champion and you're only the United States champion?
I'm just very American, and I just love the red, white, and blue. Therefore, I like the design of the belt. I love the U.S. champion belt.
I'll just drop off. I feel left out.
Tim needs a belt. We'll get you one of those belts, Tim.
Yeah, we need to find somebody like me that sees potential and we'll go buy it, which is what I did when I met Zack.
So what's interesting about the belt is, like, I remember when people first started seeing it, and I think I met you officially like 8 years ago, and sparks did not fly. And then we had a reboot, if you will, and sparks did fly. And the next thing I know, there's this belt being sent to me in the mail, which is like the greatest gift of all time, by the way. But the meaning behind the belt is something interesting, because I think when I got it, it was something that I just wanted as a thing. And I didn't tell you like, oh, I want a belt, go buy me this thing. It's just, we realized that we both liked wrestling, which, yes, as mid 30-year-old men, that is potentially a little odd. But whatever. But what's interesting is I get this gift, and I immediately, from the handwritten card that you sent, you said something like champion of business, right? And so these are the championship belts. And what I always thought was interesting is not that belt was a representation of our friendship that is established over the years, but also how you can take that belt and then use it as a marketing avenue for your business. And so tell me about how buying the belt in general, or buying a gift for someone that you meet, is important, but then also kind of how a championship belt, which I think we're supposed to call them titles, right? We're not supposed to call them belts, right? Doesn't Vinnie Mac get mad at that? How does something like that affect, how can you capitalize on something so odd in a positive way for the business?
Well, going back to when I first met you, this was maybe 2012 or 13. We were at
Smart Mouth Brewery, right?
You were hanging out at Smart Mouth Brewery, and I saw that you had a pretty good presence online. And I actually went up to you and introduced myself, and you might have been on your phone texting someone. And I thought, man, this guy's kind of a jerk. Kind of made me feel like he was too good just to have a conversation with me. So I ignored you.
Not true.
That's how I felt at the time. Right? So I ignored you. Didn't think anything of it. We stayed connected online. And then what was it, 2015-ish or so, Deanie Dormer said, hey, I need you to meet somebody. Zack is a wrestling fan just like you. And from that very moment when I got to meet you again and we had a conversation about our passion and excitement for wrestling, I thought my thoughts initially of you being a jerk was no longer that anymore. And that evening, which happened to be at your, remind me what you call the place over in downtown Norfolk.
Hatch. At our Hatch office.
Yeah. At Hatch office.
Remind me of that place where you used to be. Like, come on, man.
I'm sorry. It's been a while.
Fine. Hey, what was your name again?
Right there on the blue screen. I've since transplanted for the audience to Scottsdale, Arizona. I've pretty much forgotten everything about Virginia, although I do go back. So anyway, so Zack, at night at Hatch, the theme of that evening was championing this, championing that. And it was just coincidental that we had a conversation about wrestling in which there are championship belts or titles, as we would say. And I thought it would be a nice gesture because of just your outreach to the community and just people and helping them grow their small businesses to potentially big businesses, that I would purchase a belt as a gesture to give to you. And just, I think the note said something along the lines of continue championing everything that you do for the small business community.
So it's interesting how finding something that probably has nothing to do about why you're there, right? And finding that common ground, and that establishes a relationship, and that also ultimately turns into better business opportunities for both sides of it.
Absolutely, I agree. Yes.
Is that how golf and you work too? I mean, do you think that's interesting about the golf course?
What I find in business, at least I've been a financial advisor for 15 years, and as I started as a young advisor to trying to grow my business with every person that I meet, and then also realizing that, hey, you know what, I'm in a marathon business, it's a relationship business. You have to find that common ground with folks and that common connection. And what you and I found was our love for pro wrestling. As people would joke us for that. That was something that you and I found common ground on, and that has elevated our conversations and just the things that we're able to talk about to tie back to the championing of heroes in that sense, but then also applying that to the business world.
So with you reaching out to Zack originally, was that a strategic move, or did you know that
back in 2012?
Yeah. Did you
he was at a drinks downtown, if I remember.
At the time, I worked at Milk.com. I had this job where I ate, drank, shop, play, do parties. I got paid for it. And just knowing that Zack was really well connected in the community with small business owners, part of my job was to connect with business owners to help showcase their best efforts in the community amongst not just business owners, but also the folks that would actually go out and do business with them. So I thought it'd be a good opportunity for me to just connect with Zack, and just did not get the warm and fuzzies at the time.
The warm fuzzies. I've been told I have an abrasive introductory scenario with many people. Maybe I should work on that.
Zack didn't like me for a while either.
That is facts.
But like any sort of situation that's out there, you have to find that common ground, that connection, and we were able to find that. And since then, we speak weekly. But
I think the reason why, and now, like, I don't want to talk to people. I might be at a business event, but the last thing I want to do is talk about business with someone when I'm at that event. And people will look at that and say it's ridiculous, but I'm just not looking to have that conversation. I am trying to find that common ground. And so when I ask the, like, what are you watching on Netflix question, people are like, that's ridiculous. Why are you asking that? I'm like, because what do you want me to do? Give you my 12-second elevator pitch, and you realize that there's no common ground there. And so the opportunity is lost because we couldn't figure that out, because we asked the status quo question of, hey, what do you do for a living?
Well, you had asked me a few moments ago, how does this work on the golf course? When I get on the golf course and I'm obviously kind of on and prospecting and looking for the next opportunity, I'm not going out there and handing out business cards and telling everyone what I do. I'm just going out there trying to build a relationship and connect with folks in a way that, would be great for both of us. And if it works to where there could be a potential business relationship down the road, wonderful. But I'm not on the golf course at that time trying to pick up my next client or next business deal. I'm just trying to go out there and connect and make friends. And then, of course, that relationship that you build over time will move on to something, hopefully with business, if it makes sense.
Yeah. You use the word marathon, and how you're looking at this as a marathon, as something that is going to take a while to come to fruition, if you will, to get the business that you're looking for. Do you have a kind of timeline on how it typically goes? So, like, if you meet someone, walk me through kind of the timeline of actual time when you meet someone at a networking event, and how that process goes for you to kind of get them from being like, hey, I just met you and this is crazy, to actual customer.
Yeah, so it depends on
the song.
I do, yeah.
No, come on, sing Carly Rae Jepsen. Come on.
Dogs miles away are covering their ears because of my voice, let alone me singing. So let's easy on that.
I think TikTok wants to see it though.
No, never, ever. Yeah, the process of trying to get someone to transition from I meet you to prospect a potential customer or client. So as you mentioned, owner of 2.5 businesses. I have an escape room business. I have a financial planning business. Whatever the avenue that I'm pursuing in that sense is just, you meet someone, you have that common ground, you connect. Generally speaking, at least at this point in my career, I let somebody come to me. Now, obviously, if I'm, and that's from the aspect of being a financial advisor, but from the aspect of owning an escape room, that's a little bit more of an exciting thing to talk about, right? Especially here in Scottsdale, there's 10,000 financial advisors just like me, so everyone knows someone. Virginia Beach, Hampton Roads area, I mean, there's still a good number of us out there. I find that most people don't want to just go out there and talk about their money and what's going on and their insurance needs. So I'm really just establishing that relationship. I'm very fortunate 15 years in the business that I am selective with who I bring on into my practice. So when I do meet folks, it's not that I'm not looking to grow. I'm looking to grow and add on folks into my practice that I want to enjoy life with. So I tell folks I have 2 to 3 boring conversations about their finances a year. Boring to them, exciting to me because that's what I do for a living, right? But to them, it's boring. So I want them to be able to connect with me in ways above and beyond just the professional side of things. So having that common connection, golf or pro wrestling or travel or food, you got to build that over time. It's not we're just going to have an hour-long conversation, especially at a networking event. I mean, it's like 7 minutes max. So let's connect. Okay, I like you enough, you like me enough to where we could go out and have coffee together. Then we could kind of build that bond from there.